What's going on, y'all?
Hey guys.
Hello.
So today is June
9th.
the 9th. Okay, so June the 9th. And we are coming to y'all to do a couple videos today. The first video, which is this one here, is going to be about our process of buying a home. Why are you turning it that way? That's not how you turn.
Oh yeah, this is how you turn. If you go this way, it's gonna go out. How do you? I was right.
No.
I was right.
So anyway, while the
This be how to open up a bottle of wine.
So while the kids are taking their naps, can you not elbow me? While the kids are taking their naps, we're gonna go ahead and try and do these videos really quickly for y'all.
I'm gonna step away from the camera real quick. Experiencing technical difficulties.
As y'all can see, he's not experienced. So we're gonna go into talking about the process of buying, our process of buying a home. So we'll get into that shortly. Watch, don't go on my chairs. Get on over here. Get away from the chairs.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Get away from the chairs. I don't want that to go on the chairs. That's how you know. You're like, look.
I did a good job with it.
Yeah, sure. So, as a matter of fact, I think this one came from the lenders. They actually bought this one.
I poured it, baby. I got it. I got it.
You got it?
Import for you.
Lord Jesus. Okay.
Pour it for you, baby.
Don't pour it over my seats, boy. Man, you're gonna fight. That's how you don't know how to pour. You're supposed to twist it so it won't. You're supposed to twist it. Why you not acting like Pierre Cardin?
I don't know who Pierre Cardin is.
It's closed.
Was they like that?
No.
Maybe it was somehow twisted.
When you get ready to see how it's dripping, when you pour it, you're supposed to.
Oh, I got time for that.
Anyway, that's Stella Rose that we're drinking, but it was a gift. So let's go ahead and get into this. I don't want the video to be too long, y'all. So we're gonna talk about our process of buying, our process. Everybody's process is a little bit different. However, you know, we're gonna tell y'all about ours and what we went through or what we experienced, you know, as first-time couple buyers. You know, I bought a house before and it was a total different situation. Like, it was a totally different experience doing it by myself versus doing it with, you know, my husband. And especially too because we built. So this isn't like we just picked a house off the market. It was an actual process. This wasn't a 30-day, 60-day thing. It was some months. So we're gonna go ahead and go into this. And we're going to talk about, right now we got our paper because we wanted to make sure we hit all the key points and not just be talking at the side of our head. So we're going to go ahead and get to the meat of it for y'all, okay? So we'll go ahead and start with, after we had the boys, it was more close to 2018, the very beginning, is when we started with our first realtor. This realtor here came from a friend of ours. And although she was very, very nice and very sweet,
yeah, she was sweet.
she sent us to a couple people that unfortunately wasn't very helpful with the process and with helping us. So I'll let hubby go into a little bit of that with the first realtor and who she referred us to.
The loan companies that she sent us to, they wasn't helpful at all. One thing that we learned too, you know, during the process, even with this realtor, that you have to have a realtor that has a great rapport with. I'm gonna say rapport. I'm gonna say the right lender that's for you. The lenders that she sent us to, they wasn't very like good with communication. They sent us to this new score. Some that say that we needed help with our credit.
Yeah, and this company New Score, y'all, was like horrible.
I don't recommend anybody.
We do not.
Yeah.
And a little bit about New Score though, like the reason why I would say we wouldn't recommend is because number one, it was costly. Like we were paying money, like every 2 weeks or so, we were paying money.
Basically, we gave money away.
And they didn't do anything for us. Nothing. What they were supposed to do is that they were supposed to do the stuff that you can do at home. And I can do a totally different video about how we were able to, I ain't gonna say fix our credit, because our credit was already, you know, pretty good. We were just trying to increase our numbers and get it a little bit higher. And so basically what they were trying to do is that they were trying to write the companies and let them know that we were not responsible for this or this, that, and the third. And what they did was they were like, well, sign into this particular credit check. What is it called? Credit something, but you sign into it kind of like a Credit Karma.
Basically,
and you sign into it, and when you sign into it, he was like, well, give me your password information, that way I can keep up with it. And at that time I was like, something's not right. So if you got to have my stuff information so you can log in to see what's going on with it. It was stuff that we were already taking care of. Like we were already in the process of getting cleared, paying off, or whatever, or getting off our credit if it wasn't for us, if it wasn't our stuff. So basically, it was, you know, I feel like it was a scam, and we ended up, you know, quitting with them, and that's when we ended up going to the model home a couple of months later after we quit with them. We went to the model homes, and once we went to the model homes is when we met the realtor that we had for this particular home.
Correct.
You want to go into how we met Robin and all that stuff?
Well, we was wiping dries past the area that we are currently in, you know, on our way to work or commute. We was living there previously at our old residence.
Oh, previously, back then.
Yeah, back then. Well, she kept saying how she wanted to move into this area and everything. So, you know, I was off, she was off. We wasn't doing nothing. So I was like, let's go by and check out the model homes. She wasn't really feeling it. That's just how she is. But she did it anyway because I wanted to do it. So we went in, we looked at the model homes.
So there was a couple of model homes, so kind of, not to cut y'all, but there was a lot of model homes that we saw. There was one called Lone Lake, there was one called Castle Rock, there's one called Hickory Homes, Angelina Homes, and then again Weston, which is the one that we're currently in right now. And out of all of them, we wanted to make sure we had a lot of key points of what we wanted in a home.
Right.
So, you know, my husband, his key points of what he wanted was he wanted a fireplace. He definitely wanted a fireplace. He wanted he kind of wanted a game room or a theater room type deal. And he wanted us to have an open bathroom layout. He wanted, you know, like a pretty big bathroom for the master bathroom. And he wanted a big kitchen with a big yard, you know.
And upstairs, the upstairs meant the big thing to me that you can see. Like our upstairs, we can.
He wanted like the kind of it's almost like an inside balcony type deal. So he wanted to be able to see from upstairs and see downstairs. So that was something big to him. On my list, I wanted to make sure I had an island in the kitchen. I wanted an open kitchen where I could actually see and you know, be included in what's going on in the living room. I also wanted the laundry room to be downstairs. I did not want an upstairs laundry room because I felt like once we get older, we're not going to be wanting to go upstairs. The kids are going to be moved out eventually, you know, and so you don't want to have that hurdle or financial burden to try and move it from upstairs to downstairs or going up and down.
Yeah, we didn't want that.
Well, I didn't want it. It wasn't on his list because let me tell you, he tried to persuade me many times
I was cool with the
but he tried to persuade me many times to look at, you know, these homes that had the laundry room upstairs. He was like, well, you know, and I put my foot down, and that's what you have to do as a buyer on both sides. You know, like him, I was like, well, I don't really have to have a fireplace. You know, I'm not big on it. He wanted it. So
yeah, we wouldn't have bought the home if it didn't have it.
You have to come to a mutual ground, you know, point blank in a period. Anyway, when we went to look at these homes, pretty much all of them had upstairs laundry rooms except for Weston, and it was another one that was next to it. Was it the Angelina? It was one of them. It had the laundry room downstairs too. And so that's what, you know, kind of had me sold on the Western home. But anyway,
Hickory was downstairs. You just
maybe it was Hickory.
Hickory was downstairs. You just didn't like the layout.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So we checked out, you know, the model, all the model homes. We went inside of them, looked at them, and the model home the home that we're in, the builder that we chose, it looks real elegant and fancy. And
so that model of Western home is called the Sparks that we went to go visit, and the model home. The home that we're in is called the Albany. And so what happened that day when we went in, there was a realtor that was named Robin. Her name was Robin, and so when we walked in, you know, she was very inviting, and she was like, you know, I think she was with somebody at that time, and she was like, you know, go ahead, you know, fill out the little form, go ahead and have a look around, whatever the case may be. So anyway, so we went in and, you know, we looked around, and I was like, oh my gosh, we cannot afford this. That's the first thing that came out mouth to my husband. I was like, I don't think we can afford this because
she wanted to walk right out as soon as she went in. He was like,
a little bit, but I was just kind of like, just from the outside of all the homes lined up, it was kind of like this was the most expensive looking house, the Sparks. And I was like, I don't know, baby. And he was like, let's just look. I said, okay. I said, we can look, but we can't afford this. I know it. So anyway, Robin came and met us. She said, well, you know, let's talk about some things. And she made us fill out a little questionnaire paper. And I told her straight up, I said, look, I said, we can't afford this. I said, I know we can't. I looked at the little paper, the paper that they had like houses that was like, I want to say like 390,000, 400, 500,000, remember?
Yeah.
And they had none that was 300,000, none that was 200,000. I was like, baby, I said, I said, this is too much. Like, this is like, you know, like even if we made a certain amount, we had a budget what we wanted to spend. You know what I mean? So when she came and she was like, look, she's like, how much y'all make? He told his amount, I told my amount. She was like, look, she said, I make about that much. She's saying, let me tell you, you'll be able to afford it. And we was like, She's like, okay, take down my information. I'm gonna take down y'all's. She said, and we'll get back to it. And the only thing we didn't like about the Sparks was because the kitchen had the eating breakfast area in the middle between the living room and the kitchen. It was just, setup was just kind of awkward.
Yeah, our home is a totally different setup. It's still a Western home, of course, but the setup is different. The brilliant thing that we do like about Western is that you still get the nice, you know, rotunda and the nice stairway and all that, but you get the whatever's for your liking for your family. You get to choose when it comes to the dining room. They have like different models that, you know, whatever you know, whatever to your liking. But we'll get into that. Yeah, because I almost went there already.
Yeah. So we met Robin. Like I said, she was letting us know, you know, hey, you know, y'all will be able to afford it. So we left on that note, and we was talking about it. And I still, in my mind, was like, I had on a set amount that I wanted to pay. You know, he works, I budget. That's just what it is. You know, he made the money, I budget. You know, paper, black and white. I was like, look, this is what we want to spend. This is what we don't want to spend.
You were stuck on Castle Rock. I
was stuck on Castle Rock because Castle Rock did have a model home that had a washer and dryer, a laundry room downstairs. However, they stopped building those, remember? Yeah. They didn't have any more in inventory. So, moving forward,
we still was looking for a while for Castle Rock. We rolled out to this one area where he said, go look at this model home.
Yeah, so we did look at a few Western homes, Castle Rocks and Western homes and stuff like that. But, so kind of moving a little forward from meeting Robin, and we'll definitely post her information down below. She is in Houston. Well, she works out of Woodland, Texas, but she is all around Houston. And I'll make sure I put her information below. She is with Realtor-Realty Associates, and again, her name is Robin McFarland. And
she did a great job.
She did a great job. She was so down to earth. Like, I feel like I've been knowing her for years. We laughed, we joked, and Muzz was like, I feel like you've been knowing her for years. So anyway, shout out to Robin if you're watching. So anyway, moving forward, Robin actually sent us to a lender at first, and the guy that she sent us to, she works with a lot of different people. Okay, so she can work with people on your side of town, work with people on her side of town, whatever. So she first introduced us to this one guy, and he again was giving us a list of things that, oh, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, by the way, your school loan. Well, I'm the only one that has a school loan left over to pay, and it's a good amount. You know, I went to school for a good little minute, but at that time I was just making payments, so I didn't have like no type of arrangement, you know, with the what they call it, school people, the school loans, the lenders. Yeah, they didn't have no kind of arrangement set up. So he was like, well, what's that?
You can keep talking. I'm gonna check on a little bit.
So anyway, because we didn't have any type of arrangement type deal, he was like, well, that's the first thing you need to do. Like, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and get some type of arrangement. He was like, if not, what's going to happen is when we get ready to get you over to what is it called? What are those people called? Hello?
Loan officers.
Hello?
I wouldn't
No.
What people?
The people that we was dealing with at the end, the people that do all your finalization. What was that department?
Oh, the underwriter.
Yeah, the underwriter. He said once you get your information to the underwriter, he said what they'll do is they're gonna create an amount.
Yeah, they'll choose one
that
for
they'll
you.
choose one for you.
And it won't be a good one.
And it won't be a good one. It's gonna be like maybe $600-$700, you know, a month type payment. And that's y'all know that's a whole like what 2 car notes or 1 car note, whatever. So anyway, after he mentioned that, I told my husband, I was like, well, maybe I should look into that. As soon as he told me that, I went ahead and I called, you know, the school loan people or whatever, and I made arrangements with them to set in stone for a year. So the amount that I had was not going to fluctuate. It was going to stay consistent the whole year. So that was a very good thing. So if you're buying a home, which I mentioned in the previous video, that was kind of like, you know, here and there questions, make sure that if you have any school loans that you make a payment arrangement, and make sure that it's not going to be fluctuating. Make sure that it's a payment plan that's going to stay consistent at least for a whole year if you're building.
It matters.
Yes, it does.
It matters a big deal. They check. When I say they check everything, they check everything.
Blood typing out, but
yeah.
But that was good news. So I'm glad that you sent us there. You know how they say, you know, sometimes you have to meet people in the process to get where you're going. I truly feel like that was a blessing right there, because I feel like, you know, we didn't know the information.
Yeah, you got it taken care of in the right amount of time, because at that time we still had not applied for the home.
Still hadn't applied, so this was all getting ready to. So we're gonna be moving on to that actually. So then Robin referred us to Texas Capital. Oh my gosh, y'all! If anybody that's in Houston, if you're buying a home, ask if you can go through Texas Capital, and the one that you would want to go through is for the team of Jill. What was her last name?
Probably want to look that
Jill.
up. Look it up.
Jill Thompson. Doesn't matter. But anyway, Jill is the manager over that?
Yeah, she's the
general manager.
She's the person in charge over that.
Jill Scott?
No.
Well, I'm thinking about.
No.
Okay, it's something like that, huh? Okay.
Jill is the lead.
She's the lead person.
The head person over there.
And let me tell you, homegirl works her magic. We worked with Jill. We worked with Keisha. We worked with Brittany, Leah.
Yeah, they always phenomenal.
Everybody, like, well, let me tell you what they do a little bit. They're a team. So even though you may be working with one person there, it's a whole team effort. You know, they have team meetings, and if one person off, the other person can contact you. So they work. And at the very end of the process, when I say they wanted to make sure every T was crossed and I was dotted, they were on it. And when I say Jill went to combat for us to make sure that everything was in line by the time we was able to close, she did her thing, okay?
And they show up to your closing.
Yeah, they do show up to your closing.
So you have no issues.
None.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful process with them. So she referred us to Texas Cap. I'm sorry, yes,
no, I was gonna just say that they pre-fund too your
so at the time of closing, they actually, instead of them waiting for your funds to clear, make sure everything is clear,
it's already there.
They already pre-funded, which means they already pretty much sent over what needs to be covered before we get there with the check.
That way you can get your key the same day that you're closing your home.
By the time we closed, we were like not even halfway back to this side of town. They were already saying, hey, come get your key. So yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is when we actually put in our application for this home. So all this stuff was going on before we even applied for a home. You see what I'm saying? Like we hadn't even had the house picked out just yet. So right before this, I started looking online at some Western homes because Robin, she was sending me homes that were Western homes, but they were like, and so we were like, no, we don't like that, we don't like that. So finally, I decided to get online. I looked at a couple of houses and I found this one. And believe it or not, this one had no pictures, none whatsoever. All it had was a picture of the front of the house, and it was a generic picture for every home that's for this particular model.
Definitely not the color of our brick of our home.
No.
But the blueprint was correct.
So all they had was the blueprint of where every room was going to be. So I had to use my imagination. So I sent it to, you know, hubby, and I was like, look, I was like, this house, you know, I like it a lot like that. I said everything is when you walk in, how comfortable it is, you know, the upper space, the laundry is downstairs, you know, it has a really big bathroom, it has our 2-car garage. I mean, it had everything we wanted. Plus, it had a larger, it was on a larger lot. And I like the fact too, it was on an end, like kind of like an end, a corner, an end cap. Like you didn't have to be side by side to a neighbor. So I was like, man, this right here, I like this particular house. So I showed it to him.
We have plenty of parking.
Yeah, and he was like, you know, I like this, you know, like that. So we went to go by the sales manager. He was at one of the model homes, and so he said, well, I have a home that's already put up if y'all want to go and look at it, and that way y'all can see if that's what y'all really want. He said, if that's what y'all really want, this stuff getting me coming.
Yeah, I feel
you feeling good?
I feel real good.
I don't know, this
I feel great. That's only you talk. Yeah.
I know.
I feel great.
Who gonna cook the rest of Sunday dinner? We can't, no, we got another video to do, boy. Put that down.
No, I'm good, though. I'm good.
I don't know, y'all. So if I tell y'all some misinformation. So anyway, moving forward, he showed us to a model home, another home, not a model home, a home that was being built, so an inventory home. So this was an inventory home too, except it wasn't built yet. All it had was a slab and a few pieces of wood up. That's it. When we first looked at this house, all it had was a few pieces. And I probably in this video, I may go ahead and include a few pictures, maybe in the top corner somewhere. I may try and do that of a couple of pictures of us, you know, in the building process. But anyway, moving forward with that, he showed us a home, and it was like, okay, he said, so everything would be, there go that fly. Everything would be the opposite way. So the house we looked in, instead of like the garage being on the right side, it was on the left side. So everything was a little bit opposite, but we still got the bigger picture. And I said, okay. And he liked it. He was like, okay, I like this, which I could have already seen it by the blueprint. I'm really good at reading blueprint type stuff. So I was like, I already knew, you know, whatever. So anyway, I told the sales manager the address according to the inventory list online. And I said, this is the one that we're interested in.
Yeah.
He said, okay. So he said, well, did y'all want to go ahead and put in y'all's application to take the house off market? Yeah, he both put the cork back in. But anyway, so anyway, he was like, do you want to go ahead and put in an application to, you know, secure the home? And I was like, babe, I was about to look on there. I was about to say, why are you on this side? On here, you flip. I'm tripping.
You been drinking?
I've been drinking. I've been drinking. Okay, so anyway, so we put in an application. Yeah. We went ahead and did the application part, and he was like, okay, so all I need is your earnest money. So let's get a little bit on the earnest money and the money part. So when we applied, so remember, all of this stuff was happening when we were trying to fix our credit, so we weren't even saving a whole bunch of money towards the house, okay? We were like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, you know, whatever. So at the time, all we had saved towards the house, y'all, was $2,000 and some change, okay? So when we came, and he's like, the earnest money, he said, your earnest money is $2,000. And I was like, oh, we got that. So we, of course, we had to, you know, bring him a check or whatever. So like, we got that. So we came that following, that following weekend, and we actually gave him the earnest money. And that's what started it, y'all. So we secured the home, and the same day we put an application, before we even paid the earnest money, he came and put a sold sign on the property, y'all.
We had the same day.
Same day.
The same day we did the paperwork to say that we wanted show interest in this home. He went ahead and he said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put a sold sign out there so that you don't have to worry about nobody else even looking at the house like that.
Yes.
So he took the house off the market. Once he took the house off the market, like we did what White said, brought the check in, gave him the check. And
so, hold on, baby. So while we were filling out the application, we were told that how much money we were going to need to save for, down payment possibly, and also for closing. Well, while we were putting in the application, signing all our agreement stuff or whatever, he said, well, you get $11,000 in incentives. He was like, what? Now remember, this is an inventory home. What an inventory home is, it means this house was already pre-designed of what everything it was going to have in it. So we were basically buying it as it comes. In reality, when you build a home, you can put whatever you want to in it. You can put whatever flooring you want, siding, color paint, the carpet color, whatever the case may be, you're able to do that. However, with inventory, they actually give you incentive, and with that incentive, or with your own money out your pocket, but they give you an incentive where you can use to make any changes, or if you don't want to use to make any changes, you can put that towards your closing. So what we decided was, after they gave us a sheet of paper and it told us everything that's going to be in the house, every color, from the grout to the color of the carpet to the color of the ceiling to how many plugs, whatever the case may be. And we were like, you know what, we're going to use that money for our closing. So guess what, we only saved $2,000 at the time. We gave that for earnest money. We now, just by signing this document, we already have our closing costs taken care of. So that's $11,000 in closing, y'all, plus $2,000 earnest money. Okay, so already we're like 10 steps ahead. We just beginning the journey and we 10 steps ahead. Let's move on, y'all. Let's keep on moving. So now let's talk about how we save the money. Okay, it's been a huge blessing, and we thank God for the blessing that we have, because hubby's able to make the amount of money to take care of house, whatever, and all I had to do was put my check in the savings. That was a blessing. So every check that I received, every time I got that check, it went straight to savings. So we started this in October. About October. So we had October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So that was 7 months of my income in the savings account. Now, this is the thing though. When hubby, when he would get paid, the thing is that sometimes we didn't need his whole check. Sometimes we could put some of his money to the savings too. By me saying this is, maybe you and your spouse or whoever you're buying a home with can think of some kind of a plan. Maybe you can get your spending habits. Maybe one person check can go straight to the bills, and another person check can go straight to savings. Or maybe you can change your spending habits where you don't spend as much on groceries. I budget our groceries. Remember, I was budgeting our groceries. Like, I was trying to stay under $80 every week. Like, every week I was trying my best to stay under $80. That way anything extra can go to savings. When it came down to buying clothes and stuff, we didn't buy anything. If it wasn't for the kids, we didn't need anything, so we didn't buy anything. That fly. So anyway, hubby and I cut back on our spending habits as far as eating out. We didn't do all the eating out thing. We didn't splurge on food type stuff. We literally kept everything to a budget because we knew we wanted, we knew we were headed. So again, talk to your spouse, see what y'all can work out on that. So let's go into the contract. So when you do your contract and you get approved for your loan, once you get approved, your application, your approval is only good for 120 days. So as you know, if each month has 30 days in it and you count, by the time we came up upon April 1st or April 3rd, our contract,
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was gonna let you just keep doing it.
The approval had expired. Therefore, guess what? By this time, you still have to make sure your credit is still good. You have to make sure everything was paid on time. You have to make sure you still have the money in the account, because guess what? You got to redo everything. It's not a horrible process, but it's an annoying process, because not only do you have to get your job, what's it called? What was it called? They had to do verification of employment. So they have to do that again. They make sure you ain't lose your job between then and now. They had to see how much money you have in your account.
Check your credit score.
Check your credit score again.
Check your usage
your
of
banking.
Your credit cards.
Check your usage of your credit cards, your bank. They have to look at your bank statements. You have to submit those again. So you have to submit everything again. Okay, so that was like the most annoying point, because the first time we got approved, the underwriter didn't want to count my husband's overtime. Okay, so that was like a huge thing. My husband worked 70 hours a week. Okay, so 40 hours is all they was counting. I'm sorry, if you count anybody 40 hours, no matter how much they get paid, it ain't gonna be hard about nothing, you know, like to do nothing with. Like, come on, really? And like I said, there was a whole extra 30 hours that was missing, and we had to, Jill and them, the whole team at what's it called, Texas Capital, had to go above the underwriter and go to the underwriter with the manager.
Yeah. The thing with overtime is when you purchasing a home, once they're doing your loan, your overtime has to be consistent.
It does. It cannot be you get overtime right now and then next week get overtime, and it has to show up the whole board. So like that was his schedule.
Yeah, that's my schedule. I always get the same amount of overtime, like no matter what. It's just my work schedule. So if you are doing it and you want your overtime to be accounted for, it definitely has to be consistent.
That was a good point. Yeah, it has to be consistent. So definitely make sure of that. That was the most important part of our buying process, because if it wasn't for my husband's income, we wouldn't be able to get this house, to be honest with you. So with the overtime, it had to be counted for.
Yeah. So
we had to do that again. Like I said, Jill and them, they fought for us when it came down to it, because like I said, we had to go over the underwriter's head and go to the manager. The manager was like, okay, you're good, we see it. The second time, same underwriter, y'all. He did the same thing. He was like, no, I can't see about this overtime. We was like, what? Y'all approved it the first time. Why wouldn't y'all approve it the second time? So she did the same thing, went over his head again, and bam, it was approved. I was stressing at that time, y'all, because look, we put in our 30-day notice at our apartment. We had packed up all our stuff. Like, we had already scheduled everything to be turned on at a certain time. Like, I was panicking. I'm a stressor. I'm a worrier. I am, y'all.
I wasn't worried.
Hubby wasn't. He was like, baby, we're gonna be fine. Quit worrying about it. The whole weekend went by, and finally Monday they called us like, oh, y'all good? And I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, moving forward, we got that approved. So now it was time to what? Look at closing. The closing in that process was probably really easy. By the time we came and did the walkthrough, there was a first walkthrough and a second walkthrough. So when you're buying a home, and once everything's put together, you go through a walkthrough to make sure that everything is working properly. Make sure your plugs, I know, that's why I have the lid sideways, baby. Make sure the burners are working on the stove. Make sure the fireplace working. Make sure everything is on. Make sure there's no paint chips, anything missing. So you go around with blue tape to make sure that everything is, up to your standards. Yeah, up to your standards.
Yeah, whatever you don't like, let them know.
Yes.
No matter what it is, they'll take care of it. Because it's your home, you're buying it, it's your money. So anything that you see, they'll take care of it.
Yes. So we did the second walkthrough. Hubby came along. I was at work, and he went ahead and signed off on the papers. And after that, it was like what? The following what?
Thursday.
That following Wednesday. We went to the location. This location here is located in Sugarland. Sugarland. And we went to Sugarland. We signed all the papers and everything.
Closed on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Probably closed on Thursday.
Okay, Thursday.
Yeah, because I got paid the same day we closed.
Okay, so it was Thursday. Yeah. So you got paid same day. So anyway, Thursday we closed, and anyway, we drove out there and got there. The realtor was there, which is Robin, and one of the what do they call themselves? I guess, what is she?
The loan officer.
So one of the loan officers, Keisha. Shout out to Keisha if you're watching. She met us there as well, and we sat there and signed all of our documents. It was a really quick process.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. Not like how we thought it was gonna be.
Robin gave us a beautiful gift. She gave us a gift for us, a gift for the kids. Like, it was really sweet. And also Keisha, they sent a gift. And also the Texas Capital sent us a stamp later on too, with our address on it, our name and address.
And it gave us champagne bottles.
Yeah, so I said Keisha gave us champagne.
This one right here.
And then I don't remember which is which. And then our sales manager, he left a gift too for us when we came and got the key. He had us a bag with a blanket. We had a little blanket. We had a candle, and we had some more wine in there. And so I want to say shout out to all of them. Thank y'all so much. All in all, would I build again? Yes, it was a good process. I didn't want to build. I wanted to just get a home because I felt like in the process of building, anything can happen to your credit. Life happens. You know, you may have to put out a loan. You may have to buy another car. I was just scared of the what ifs. Hubby always wanted to build. He didn't want to sit on nobody else's toilet, you know. And so I was like, okay, fine then, you know. So I went along with it. Sometimes you have to compromise on some things. And, you know, that's one thing I did compromise on. And I'm very happy that I did compromise because in the end, we have a beautiful home. Everything that was for inventory in this home, we loved. Everything, I actually went down a list of everything that I wanted in a home, from the color of the carpet to the color of the backsplash. And this home had everything that we wanted in the home, like everything. There's nothing I would change about, you know.
If she had to pick it out, it would have been what it is right now.
Yep,
so
it would have been what it is right now. So the buying process, I can honestly say, the one good thing about building a home, buying a home, but building a home, the one thing I can also say that's best and most beneficial is that you don't have to have the money at the time that you sign for your home to get under contract for your home. You have plenty of time to save. So if you don't have the money now and you can calculate that you're going to have the money by the time you close, I would definitely say build a home. I am still in awe that we're in this house, y'all. So we started off with, like I said, $2,000 towards the home. And by the time we got ready to close, we seen commas, you know, and it was just a blessing. And so I would darn fly. So I can definitely say that was the best route for us to go. And if we can give any advice, we would say do the same thing. I don't have anything bad about the whole buying. It was a smooth, like I was telling my husband, if it happens easily, it's meant to be. If it happens smoothly, it's meant to be.
It was smooth.
If it's rocky, if it's like fighting against the grain, I feel like you need to step back and reevaluate the scene.
Yeah, we didn't. Anything
that we go, you know what I'm saying? Anything that we go with, just I think a bit of advice that we kind of would live by. Remember, like how we always would say, it's easy. Like if it happens, easy, smooth process, then it means it's God. You know, it's God's will. You know, type deal. It's meant to be. Yeah. But I feel like when you have to fight against the grain and it's ratchet and you gotta force it. If you gotta force it and all stuff like that, I feel like you need to kind of step back and evaluate.
But some stuff you do gotta fight for. You know?
Some stuff you do have to fight for. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that, you know, when it's time, when it's meant to be, it goes smoothly. Type deal, you know. Yeah,
it was smooth. I think it's all about getting the right people, having the right realtor, and your realtor having the right loan company that that's presented to you. Because even with the income that we have, one of the lenders, and this is before we got with Robin, she said that we qualified for like a $90,000
yeah, it was like 90, maybe $100,000.
Yeah,
it was like what?
She was way off.
Way off
with the way they done
triple
things.
Times way off.
Like way off, and so it's important that your realtor has a great relationship and a loan company that she sends you to, and that they got your best interest at heart and everything. So.
Yeah. So again, if y'all have any questions, list below. Hopefully, we answered many of y'all's questions.
Oh wait, you forgot one thing.
Oh what?
One of the reasons too about your realtor, Robin has a relationship with Weston. It's important that you when you choose a realtor too, that because we went through that as far as like choosing a realtor, you have to do what's best for you and for your family, because we went through that. like that? Because you didn't want to let go of the first realtor.
Well, I didn't want to let go of the first realtor because we started out with her, and sometimes it is a competition thing, and it is a, you know, step on anybody's toes type deal. You know, when you start off with somebody, you don't want to let them go type stuff if they didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong per se. It was just so much the people that she was in contact with. But that's it.
She was a great person though.
Really good person.
Robin just.
And Robin really, she had an easy job really. And she just had to sit back and wait and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and then she helped out in a tremendous way too, because she ended up gifting us. Like, I don't know if y'all know, like some people, you know, not people, but some realtors can gift. And she ended up giving us, you know, a really good gift towards our buying of our home as well. Like, such a sweetheart.
She was a huge blessing.
Like, she was a huge blessing. Like,
she got us with the right people.
And she's like, I got y'all. She's like, I've been, you know, for pushing us, because I felt like,
she told us when to apply too.
Yeah.
We was at home. She was in the bed actually. It was on the weekend, and Robin was like, y'all need to go ahead and apply. She said something before the end of the year.
Yeah, because she said a lot of the homes or something was gonna go up in price.
Yeah, and they are up in price right now.
And so what we did was that following Monday, I reached out to Texas Capital. I was at work on my lunch break, and I was like eating and talking, y'all, and I put in my put in our application for it, and it took all our information. And we were told pretty much within that same day or so how much was gonna get. We told them the amount of the house, and that's how much they approved us for. So we could have been approved for way much more, but at that time they said, how much is the house? And we told them it's, you know, XYZ.
Yeah, we knew how much this home was, so we knew how much we wanted for this home. When they give you the printout, it tells you the color of the cabinets and the carpet, and you gonna know the interior, the paint and everything like that. So my wife was happy with, like I say, everything that was inventory, like she mentioned previously. So we knew that we didn't have to change anything in this home, like everything that's.
Where you going with this?
I'm going.
Yeah, we already talked about that land.
No, what I'm saying is that the whole, I don't know, I guess it's alcohol.
I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about now? What the hell, y'all? Like she said previously.
I don't need to drink.
Okay. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. We're gonna go into the next video because I don't want the video to be extra long. But like I was saying, if you have any questions, definitely put it down below, because my husband will talk y'all ear off, and he's gonna be repeating the same stuff. He was like, oh, I'm gonna tell you something about the realtor. We just talked about that earlier. So we'll go ahead and go to the next video. Again, if you have any questions or anything like that, y'all definitely leave it down below.
Yeah.
Let us know, you know, how y'all enjoyed the video, if it was helpful, anything like that. Again, if y'all go to Robin, tell her we sent y'all. And if y'all go to Texas Capital, to Jill and Keisha and all of the rest of the team, tell them that we sent y'all.
That's what I recommend. If you're in Texas, go through them.
Well, not just Texas.
Well, if you're in Houston area, you want to go through Texas Capital. I strongly recommend them. I strongly recommend Robin.
Okay, yes, we do. So we're going to go ahead and end this video, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. You going to say bye, baby?
Bye, y'all. Thank you. It's been real. And the price for this is $19.99. That's the going price for it.